Hey everybody, welcome back to PunFun, where we have fun with the puns. My name is Ryan, and we're going to check out episode 6, so the finale of the Marvel series Moon Knight. If you haven't yet seen episode 6, so the finale of the Marvel series Moon Knight, please be sure to do so. because hey, it's a finale. It had everything you expect it to be. I was kind of hoping he would have used the power of the moon in order to, maybe shoot some stuff or do like this giant blast. However, he did use the moon in order to, glide his way to where he needed to be, which I thought was pretty cool. So, this all being said, we're going to check out new characters that have been unlocked, some characters we've never seen within the Marvel world that we're going to see now in the MCU. What does this mean for the gods now? Now we know that these statues, once broken, if the Avatar can turn into superheroes, would this mean that they can become heroes or villains along the way? We're also going to talk about the ending itself. So, we finally get to see Jake Lockley. And yes, if you had not noticed, there is a end credit, so you may want to check that out and come back. That was definitely a twist. I did not expect that at all. Well, I didn't expect the ending with the end credits. We'll get into that, and it actually explains so much in the sense that we know that there's going to be I'm pretty sure there's going to be a second season. And in this case, what does it mean? The fact that they're tied up again, it's not Mark, it's not Steven. It has to be Jake that, had to do that in order for them. So they know they're back at it again. Who is this third person? What is the trauma that caused this, last person to be created? But yeah, let's just get into it. So first of all, we have Mark Spector, what better to be in heaven himself or in the fields of reeds. And he's like, hey, you know what? This isn't worth it if I can't have Steven, his better half. So he actually leaves heaven aside. And even Tarwood was like, what are you doing? And he's like, look, just go, advise Layla, free Khonshu, and let's get the gang together and let's do this. So he goes back, tries to find Steven, gives him the heart, and they're kind of like, in balance now. And Osiris, probably seeing this, act of, well, not just of kindness, but like, of willfulness, and he really is pure of heart, was like, you know what, sure, go back in there. We'll give you a second round. Well, in this case, the second round. So he's granted life again. He comes back. And Khonshu, obviously, we saw that at first we were certain that he was going after Layla. However, later on in the finale, we find out that no, in the end, he doesn't care about Steven. He doesn't care about Mark. That's why it was such an easy bargain when they had asked for, like, look, if you get us, you need to leave us aside. And he was like, okay, yeah, sure, go save the world. Well, it's because he was after Jake all along, and well, not along, but once seeing the kind of violence and what kind of, power that he was able to do. Now, we're going to talk about Jake Lockley at the very end, so, stay tuned for sure for that. Now, regarding Layla, so we did see Tarwood saying, hey, I want to be your new avatar, or can you be my new avatar? And she was like, yeah, sure, I'm not too sure. And then she got to see Khonshu, and she's like, you know what, I'd rather have her. And basically get Tarwood. You saw the episode, I'm not going to explain the whole entire thing, but now we know that these characters can become these superhero, have the suit and whatever and fly. And so the Egyptian gods, all of those that we saw, the statues that still are on that wall, can potentially all be given to now another avatar and could become a villain within the MCU. It could become another hero within the MCU, depending on what is needed or what is demanded of, their situation. Now, seeing, definitely the boys were back and there was a giant fight. We did have the kaiju, mishmash of between Ammit and Khonshu, which was great because, Khonshu is the man with, the power and moves and all that. To see him actually fight with his old ass, it was great. Now, the world saw that. And we haven't really seen or mentioned of this anywhere else in the MCU. Will this be mentioned going forward? Will it be in, Multiverse of Madness, which comes out tomorrow, depending, of course, of when you see this. We're not going to put any spoilers here as of yet. But talking about big baddies, battling it out, we do have a callback to Shang Chi. So when they finally had that beast, be released from the portal, one of the things that it was trying to do is capture the souls via its spawn or sprites and suck the soul of all those beings to become bigger and bigger and kind of like Rita Repulsa, make my monster grow. And yeah, within a few seconds, because of that little herd that they had created, they were able to gain so much souls and have her grow so big, and now she's a big girl now. But it was just very cool to see that again with this whole purple thing. We had callback to these old, I guess ancient, I guess it would have to be gods and things that have to do with the celestial world or the god world, if you will, having that purple hue now. It's not just like, oh, everything to do with the portal. The portal is just really a conduit for them to come in and out. So maybe in Multiverse Madness, again, we haven't seen any spoilers, we haven't seen any leaks. That may be where maybe Khonshu comes, not Khonshu, but Kachan, may appear or not. Anyways, so now let's get back into Layla, because we were talking about the gods and potentially having new suits and powers. Now, we do see that Layla, via Taweret, was able to have the wings, the power, kind of like, one, Wakanda Forever, but also like Wonder Woman, even with the gold wings. I mean, that's pretty spot on. And kind of Falcon at the same time, utilizing her wings as a weapon. There isn't really a Marvel character to say. I mean, there are instances, like for example the Spider-Man issue, where you do see this character holding the staff of the Scarab, but there isn't a Scarlet Scarab as a recent rendition with this kind of outfit. So this is kind of MCU's first take at a Marvel character. So I definitely thought it was, it was well done. And I mean, she didn't really have a mask and all that, so I don't know if maybe later on she have a mask, because I mean, she did have an unprotected head, or maybe there's like a second like beast mode or something. I don't know. Maybe it could just really be temporarily, because we don't know what happens to Layla at the end. Will she appear in season 2 if there is one? Will she come back as, with Taweret being an avatar? Will it be something that she's able to call upon when she needs it? Kind of like how, it wasn't just Taweret that was there, and she's like, hey, she needs a dead body in order to communicate with her. I don't know how that's going to work. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they just created a new bond and they're able to call upon each other now. What I do know is that was very cool, and I can't wait for them to utilize other avatars in this sense, especially with the Butcher, the God Butcher, coming up in Thor Love and Thunder. We may have other characters that we do see as, heroes or fighting the God Butcher, not really necessarily in this big giant kaiju form, but more in their avatar souped up form. Anyways, so now finally for the finale, we have Jake Lockley taking Harrow, throwing him in the limo, and you have obviously Khonshu telling him, hey, you know what, you caused me a lot of trouble, we need to get rid of you, and Jake was the man to finish the job. So we finally get to see Jake Lockley in the flesh, if you will, taking control of the body once more. Now what's important is the fact that they were cuffed up, so both Steven and Mark, is because now Jake is in that window. So it may all be that in the next season we do get to see Jake is perspective on all this, where he's like not sure what's going on, who are these other people. He doesn't even know that maybe there's other people, or he's sleepwalking or whatever that may be. But he's not in Layla's house, or the house that they had with Layla. They are back in that same apartment they had a while ago. So this definitely brings us to kind of like a Groundhog Day, where it kind of starts back, but this time it is not this whimpering character. It's somebody who is out for violence, very aggressive, and he's there to finish the job. So what in Mark's mind could have happened for him to have this kind of trauma? And if it isn't Mark, then what happened to Steve for him to create this third personality? Is it what he was lacking then was pushed onto this last character, where there's a full of confidence and aggressiveness? And I don't know. We're gonna get to see that in the next series, in the next season, and we're definitely all about it. I mean, this series was amazing. I loved it from the beginning to end. Again, the last episode was kind of rushed, but by all means, well done for a Disney Plus series. This was incredible. I would have loved even a next episode if we could. Now, will we see him in the MCU? I'm pretty sure there's going to be moments where they're going to have, maybe against Kang, or we're going to have to see how that kind of really fits in. Because once again, when Harrow even had his staff, it went from being the balance with the two heads to now being, one side with the axe, which means he is now the executioner. And he has the power of the executioner to now, wield and kill whoever it is he wanted. Again, we had determined that this was a weapon or device that was created by Kang, as we've seen in the comics. So Kang might want to go back and reclaim his, staff. And in his case, they actually had two-sided axes. So we're going to leave you off with 3 last little things. One being, if you've enjoyed this video, we definitely suggest you hit that like button. And if you would like to subscribe, we would highly suggest it. This way you stay on top at all times, especially when we have videos like these that we break down anything to do with the comic world. If not, we also have comic book artists on our show, which brings me to our second point, which is we actually have 2 ongoing contests. One on the Bryan Baugh episode and one on the Francois Vigneault episode. If you were to go on those 2 channels, 2 episodes, check it out. There's actually a contest where you could just have to subscribe and put a comment inside regarding, you can look and see exactly what the rules were to what exactly we're looking for as a comment, and you're entered to win a free comic book on Bryan Baugh's side. And on Francois Vigneault's side, you actually get 8 comic books. So I'm going to point it up here. So you can't go wrong. It's volume 1 and volume 2 of his series. So we're doing crazy stuff for May, and you definitely want to get on board. And lastly, Multiverse of Madness is coming out tomorrow, depending on when you're seeing this video, of course. And it's going to be crazy. It's going to be insane. And we're also going to, do a little breakdown of that when we get to that. But, MOM is definitely going to be a fun time. And speaking of MOM, it's Mother's Day, so you definitely want to treat your mothers right. And we're all about that. And lastly, and very, very, very lastly about, all of this and all that, it's Free Comic Book Day this Saturday. So if you have a comic book store that you go to, or that you're familiar with, or you would like to visit, we highly suggest you support your comic book stores on Free Comic Book Day. And they'll also be offering free comic books, and they have like little offers and sometimes really crazy promotions. So you definitely want to do that. And if you're in the Montreal area, and one of our Instagram posts, I'm actually going to post the ones I usually go to anyways, so that would probably help you engage or map out where you want to go and make your claims and support. That is all. Take it easy, guys. Peace.